So over the last 2 seasons, Bell's had the most offensive touches, scrimmage yards, and second in rushing yards behind only Ezekiel Elliott. Stephen A. Smith, this is your team. How much are they going to miss him this weekend?
They're not going to miss him, but so much, because I don't expect the Cleveland Browns to be that good. Everybody's been ballyhooing them as some much improved team. Obviously drafted Baker Mayfield, Denzel Ward. I'll add to that equation. I understand why there's an upside, because you can't get any worse than 0-16. But the reality is that 67% of the time, people have scored on them when in the red zone against this team. They turn the ball over constantly. They can't stop anybody. And so when you look at it from that perspective, they've got a myriad of issues, and that's just on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, they've drafted about 6 wide receivers over the last 3 years, and not one of them are expected possibly to even be on a roster. So this team's got a whole bunch of troubles. It's not that the Steelers are not going to miss Le'Veon Bell, but this is certainly not the litmus test for that. As an aside, I appreciate the way Mike Tomlin answered that question. I don't communicate with agents about players. I communicate with players about players. Couldn't be put more professionally, more succinctly, not to mention the fact not only did he say that, but he also talked about moving forward. Of course, he's disappointed that Le'Veon Bell's not going to be there, but he understands the business.
By the way, I wanted to address that right off the top. Nick Saban, and Bill Belichick for that matter, and many coaches who don't know how to deal with the media should take a page from Mike Tomlin's book. You see how he just did that? He was annoyed. He was in charge, and he was annoyed. But he answered the question with respect for the person who was asking it. And he didn't duck it, and he didn't try to bully anyone, and he didn't act like a petulant child. He simply told you what it was. That's the way you answer a question. Like, Mike Tomlin does a lot of things really well. That's one of them.
Max, the only thing that I would say to you is that I don't think that it's not that they don't know. It's that they don't care. And Mike Tomlin cares enough to be decent enough to another human being as a reporter, and obviously other guys don't. But
you see how he still answered everything, still expressed like, look, I don't communicate with agents, but why do you have to duck the question? Just answer the damn question. Respect the person. He answered it like a man, not like a child or a bully. Okay. They're going to miss Le'Veon Bell in the passing game, the pass blocking especially, where he's excellent. Le'Veon Bell is the best back of his era because he's great at everything. You know, they're fast, twitchier muscle guys. They're more explosive guys. But so much of what Le'Veon Bell does is his football IQ. What facet of the game isn't he good at? He can catch passes. You can split him out wide. He pass blocks. He's a very patient runner. He can hit the hole and do all those things. Now, James Conner was, lights out in the preseason. They used a 3rd-round pick on him, which is good for a running back. I mean, Le'Veon Bell was a 2nd-round pick. And they like him a lot. It's one of the reasons they're not giving Le'Veon Bell a long-term deal. They think they can replace him, cheaper. But it's a lot to ask. He'll hit holes. He'll do those things. But it's a lot to ask in addition to that for a young running back to pass block the way Le'Veon Bell does. And so I think they're going to miss Bell, especially in the passing game.